Hello ladies and gentlemen, Technique Tuesday. This is part 2 in our series on how to modify your deadlift. So last video on our Technique Thursday, we went through the trap bar deadlift, which is a very, very good option for people that are maybe struggling to do a straight bar or a conventional deadlift because it causes them some lower back issues. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch it. Today I'm going to take you through some options that we use and most commonly used or widely used in order to actually scale back the deadlift for somebody who maybe has trouble taking it from the floor. Now, I want to preface this by saying it depends on what the application of the deadlift is going to be for you. Obviously, the advice needs to be individual. What we're giving out here is very broad advice, but if you are looking to compete in a sport like powerlifting, or even you're looking to do some fast exercising where there's going to be a deadlift component in a workout, you are going to need to do it from the floor to adhere to the rules of competition. What I am talking about here is using the deadlift as a strengthening movement, which can be a very powerful tool to help strengthen the glutes, the hamstrings, and the lower back, and not somebody who is looking to compete in a sport where that deadlift needs to be taken from the floor. Okay, so with the deadlift, the thing is, when you are taking it from the floor, what we find a lot, especially for people that are deconditioned or people who are nursing back issues, is in order to get the bar from the floor, a lot of people will get themselves into a position where they've got almost this anterior pelvic tilt and that lower back is rounded out. And then when they pull it from the ground, there's no tension through their glutes and their hamstrings, and they're really just putting all that pressure on their lower back. And when we start to look at doing like what we've got here, so we've got two options where we've got the bar elevated onto a set of blocks, we've got a bar elevated onto a set of plates, and we start doing that and bringing it up off the ground, we actually find they can get themselves into a good position. So usually if somebody is in a pretty bad state and causing a lot of pain, we'll start by teaching that person how to hinge. And one of the ways we'll do that is to do it from, we're using jerk blocks here. You can do it with stacking a few more plates higher. You can also do it if you've got spotting arms on a squat rack and doing it as a rack pull. But ideally, we're going to start from just above the knee or about mid-quad, and we're going to get them in a good position where they're over the bar, everything's set, keeping those shoulder blades in a good position, and then we're just working on pulling up, squeezing those glutes as they stand up, then driving those hips back, bringing it back down to the box, and making sure that they've got everything nice and set when they do it. So this is option one. This is a starting point, and this is probably where we'd start somebody who maybe has some major back issues, okay, that are going to limit them. And then from there, we can slowly progress that height down. Now, we don't actually have to progress the height down, okay? We don't have to get closer to the ground, and we don't ever really have to take it from the ground if you are just trying to use this movement as a pull to help strengthen your body, okay? I don't let anybody tell you any different. If that is all you are using the deadlift for, there is no reason for you to have to take it from the floor. Okay, and then we can start to work to something like this, because not everyone's going to have squat racks, not everybody's going to have jerk blocks that they can use, but you can just use a pair of, say, 20 kilo bumper plates, or, you know, quite high plates, or even a set of blocks, and you can set yourself up from here. And what we find is just by taking those the plates up off the ground a little bit higher, people are able to get themselves in a better position, which means that there's less pressure on their lower back, there's more glute and hamstring engagement, and then as they stand that bad boy up, they're not putting any pressure on that lower back. Nice and controlled all the way back down to those guides, rather than having to take it all the way to the floor, being in a nice position, and then as they go that little bit lower, they don't have that range of motion to keep tension on in that position. So this is number 2. There are so many different levels to this, and you can start as high as you want, even starting mid-quad, and then progressing it down as low as you can. If you have a goal, even if you're not competing, to deadlift from the floor and you struggle with the deadlift, this is a good way to start. You can build up strength at one height and then progress that height closer and closer and closer to the ground while working on that mobility. If you want some hip mobility tips, we've got plenty of videos on our YouTube page, so you can go and find them. But this is a good way to scale back that conventional deadlift, which for a lot of people is a movement that they have some trouble with, especially if you have lower back issues. That's it for another week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you've got any questions. Make sure you like, share, recommend to a friend. We'll see you next week. Bye.